that I will, when opportunity presents, make and wage relentless war, secretly and openly, against all heretics, Protestants, and Masons, as I am directed to do, to extirpate them from the face of the whole earth, and that I will spare neither age, sex, nor condition, and that I will hang, burn, waste, boil, flay, strangle, and bury alive these infamous heretics, rip up the stomachs and wombs of their women, and crush their infants' heads against the walls in order to annihilate their execrable race.
So that was just a small part of the unquestionable blood oath that each Jesuit priest swears not to God, but to the Pope. And it gets darker from here, as you guys will hear in a second. I'm going to read the whole oath and some of the ritual that goes along with it, where they sign in blood. But to preface, for those who don't know, the Jesuits are a faction of the Roman Catholic Church. They're known as the soldiers of the Pope. They work essentially as an intelligence agency, and their spies or priests swear this blood oath to wage war against Protestants, heretics, and Masons. Pope Francis is actually the first Jesuit pope in history, and many believe him to be a puppet with the Black Pope, or the superior general of the Jesuits, pulling all the strings behind the scenes. Before I get too much more into it, I do want to read just a small bit of their Wikipedia page. Mainly where it says here that they are to accept orders to go anywhere in the world, even if required to live in extreme conditions. This was so because Ignatius, its leading founder, was a nobleman who had military background. Accordingly, the opening lines of the founding document declared that the society was founded for whoever desires to serve as a soldier of God, to strive especially for the defense and propagation of the faith, and for the progress of souls in Christian life and doctrine. As I said, they are known as God's soldiers. I encourage you to read this for yourself, but one other interesting thing I found, particularly in the history, was that they first met in a crypt beneath the Church of St. Denis. So, yeah, they're basically soldiers for the Pope who are allowed to do just about anything. Structured just like a militia, and they're known for their occult-like and evangelistic nature, and they undergo certain spiritual rituals which essentially turn them into a brainless soldier at the Black Pope's command. I know this sounds crazy, but the oath is, it says it in the oath. The oath actually mentions that they should be as cadavers, having no opinion or will of their own. Basically what we would call a zombie nowadays. Their insignia also hints at a dark connection. Some say that this stands for Isis, Horus, and Set, which I'm sure most people know those are demons. But through this oath that they sign, pretty much any act is permissible as long as it serves the greater good of the church, or what they deem so. The following is that oath, as well as some of the ritual involved with the initiation of the new priest. So first I'm going to play a clip from another YouTube channel, which I will credit in text on the screen, and then I'm going to read the Jesuit oath.
Jesuit oath. Well, remember that the spiritual exercises were designed to eliminate all human emotion and to turn the men into machines. And just as demonic influence was so clearly at work in Loyola's cave experience, so they are involved in the spiritual exercises. H. Boehmer in Les Jesuits writes, "We imbue unto him spiritual forces which he would find very difficult to eliminate later. These forces can come up again to the surface, sometimes after years of not even mentioning them, and become so imperative that the will finds itself unable to oppose any obstacle and has to follow their irresistible impulse." In other words, through the spiritual exercises, the Jesuit initiate becomes possessed and finds themselves compelled to act according to the will of these demonic forces within.
So now that we know a little bit about who the Jesuits are, let's take a close look at the actual oath that these supposed Catholic priests swear to, which they sign in their own blood, and pledge their allegiance not to God, but to the Pope. So here you have it. The Jesuit oath. My son, hereforto you have been taught to act the dissembler among Roman Catholics, to be a Roman Catholic, and to be a spy even among your own brethren, to believe no man, to trust no man, among the reformers to be a reformer, among the Huguenots to be a Huguenot, among the Calvinists to be a Calvinist, among other Protestants generally to be a Protestant, and obtaining their confidence, to seek even to preach from the pulpits, and to denounce with all the vehemence in your nature our holy religion and the Pope, and even to descend so low as to become a Jew among Jews, that you might be enabled to gather together all information for the benefit of your order as a faithful soldier of the Pope. So right there in the first paragraph, it's pretty much laying it all out. They're collecting information for the advancement of the church, and they are instructed to blend in among the reformers, the Huguenots, the Calvinists, the Protestants. They are allowed to denounce their own religion to gain these people's confidence and infiltrate them from the inside out. This is known as the fifth column tactic. But yeah, so already, right in the first paragraph, it's pretty crazy already. I'm going to try not to give that much commentary and get through this. You have been taught to plant insidiously the seeds of jealousy and hatred between communities, provinces, states that were at peace, and to incite them to deeds of blood, involving them in war with each other, and to create revolutions and civil wars in countries that were independent and prosperous. Cultivating the arts and sciences and enjoying the blessings of peace, to take sides with the combatants, and to act secretly with your brother Jesuit, who might be engaged on the other side, but openly opposed to that with which you might be connected. Only that the church might be the gainer in the end, in the conditions fixed in the treaties for peace, and that the end justifies the means. You have been taught your duty as a spy to gather all statistics, facts, and information in your power from every source, to ingratiate yourself into the confidence of the family circle of Protestants and heretics of every class and character, as well as that of the merchant, the banker, the lawyer, among the schools and universities, in parliaments and legislatures, in the judiciaries and councils of state, and to be all things to all men, for the Pope's sake, whose servant we are unto death. You have received all your instructions heretofore as a novice, a neophyte, and have served as coadjutor, confessor, and priest. But you have not yet been invested with all that is necessary to command the army of Loyola in the service of the Pope. You must serve the proper time as the instrument and executioner as directed by your superiors. For none can command here who has not consecrated his labors with the blood of the heretic. For without the shedding of blood no man can be saved. Therefore, to fit yourself for your work and make your own salvation sure, you will, in addition to your former oath of obedience to your order and allegiance to the Pope, repeat after me. Getting pretty dark in that one. You must serve as executioner as directed by your superiors, for none can command here who has not consecrated his labors in the blood of a heretic. To me that sounds like you can't be in our club unless you have whacked a heretic, or at least not gain any status, because it is laid out just like a military, with the superior general at the top. So this is the part that the initiate would read. I, neophyte, now in the presence of Almighty God, the Blessed Virgin Mary, the Blessed Saint John the Baptist, and the Holy Apostles, Saint Peter and Saint Paul, and all the saints, sacred host of heaven, and to you, my ghostly father, the Superior General of the Society of Jesus, found by Saint Ignatius of Loyola, in the pontification of Paul III, and continue to the present, do by the womb of the Virgin, the matrix of God, and the rod of Jesus Christ, declare and swear that His Holiness, the Pope, is Christ's vice-regent and is the true and only head of the Catholic or universal Church throughout the earth, and that by the virtue of the keys of binding and loosing given to His Holiness by my Savior, Jesus Christ, He hath power to dispose heretical kings, princes, states, commonwealths, and governments, and they may be safely destroyed. So, the Superior General is Christ's vice-regent, and it's basically saying whatever the Superior General deems necessary can be done, and they are saying that Jesus Christ has allowed, they're working in Jesus' name. Therefore, to the utmost of my power, I will defend this doctrine and His Holiness's right and custom against all usurpers of the heretical or Protestant authority, whatever, especially the Lutheran Church of Germany, Holland, Denmark, Sweden, and Norway, and now the pretended authority and the churches of England and Scotland, and the branches of same now established in Ireland, and on the continent of America and elsewhere, and all adherents in regard that they must be usurped and heretical, opposing the Sacred Mother Church of Rome. I do now denounce and disown any allegiance as due to any heretical king, prince, or state, named Protestant or liberal, or obedience to any of their laws, magistrates, or officers. I do further declare the doctrine of the churches of England and the Scotland of the Calvinists, Huguenots, and others of the name of Protestants or Masons to be damnable, and they themselves to be damned, who will not forsake the name. I do further declare that I will help, assist, and advise all or any of His Holiness's agents in any place where I should be, in Switzerland, Germany, Holland, Ireland, or America, or in any other kingdom or territory I shall come to, and do my utmost to expurgate the heretical Protestants or Masonic doctrines, and to destroy all their pretended powers, legal or otherwise. I do further promise and declare that, notwithstanding I am dispensed with to assume any religion heretical for the propagation of the Mother Church's interest, to keep secret and private all her agents' counsels from time to time as they entrust me, and not to divulge, directly or indirectly, by word, writing, or circumstance, whatever, but to execute all that should be proposed, given in charge, or discovered unto me by you, my ghostly father, or any of this sacred order. So go anywhere, do anything. I do further promise and declare that I will have no opinion or will of my own, or any mental reservation whatever, even as a corpse or cadaver, but will unhesitatingly obey each and every command that I may receive from my superiors in the militia of the Pope and of Jesus Christ, that I will go to any part of the world whatsoever I may be sent, to the frozen regions north, jungles of India, to the centers of civilization of Europe, or to the wild haunts of the barbarous savages of America, without murmuring or repining, and will be submissive in all things whatsoever is communicated to me. So they can go wherever, and they can't say a word about it. I do further promise and declare that I will, when opportunity presents, make and wage relentless war, secretly and openly, against all heretics, Protestants, and Masons, as I am directed to do, to extirpate them from the face of the whole earth, and that I will spare neither age, sex, nor condition, and that will hang, burn, waste, boil, fillet, strangle, and bury alive these infamous heretics, rip up the stomachs and wombs of their women, and crush their infants' heads against the wall, in order to annihilate their execrable race. That when the same cannot be done openly, I will secretly use the poisonous cup, the strangulation cord, the steel of the poniard, or the leaden bullet, regardless of the honor, rank, dignity, or authority of the persons, whatsoever may be their condition in life, either public or private, and at any time may be directed so to do by any agents of the Pope or Superior of the Brotherhood of the Holy Father of the Society of Jesus. So when they cannot openly murder, they are directing them to, attack from the inside and use any means necessary. In confirmation of which I hereby dedicate my life, soul, and all corporal powers, and with the dagger which I now receive, I will subscribe my name written in blood in testimony thereof. And should I prove false, or weaken in my determination, may be brethren and fellow soldiers of the militia of the Pope cut off my hands and feet, and my throat from ear to ear, my belly be opened, and sulphur burned therein, with all the punishments that can be inflicted upon me on earth, and my soul shall be tortured by demons in eternal hell forever. So for breaking the oath, that's the consequence. That I will in voting always vote for a Knight of Columbus in preference to a Protestant, especially a Mason, and that I will leave my party so to do. That if 2 Catholics are on the ticket, I will satisfy myself which is the better supporter of Mother Church, and vote accordingly. That I will not deal with or employ a Protestant in my power to deal with or employ a Catholic. That I will place Catholic girls in Protestant families, that a weekly report may be made for the inner movements of the heretics. That I will provide myself with arms and ammunition, that I may be in readiness when the word is passed, or I am commanded, to defend the Church, either as an individual or with the militia of the Pope. All of which I, neophyte, do swear by the Blessed Trinity and Blessed Sacrament which I am now to receive, to perform, and on part to keep this my oath. In testimony hereof, I take this most holy and blessed sacrament of the Eucharist, and witness the same further with my name written with the point of the dagger dipped in my own blood, and seal in the face of this holy sacrament. And this reads, he receives the wafer from the Superior, and writes his name with the point of his dagger dipped in his own blood, taken from over his heart. Now the Superior would speak. You will now rise to your feet, and I will instruct you in the catechism necessary to make yourself known to any member of the Society of Jesus belonging to this rank. I guess he would show him the secret handshake. In the first place, you, as a brother Jesuit, will with another mutually make the ordinary sign of the cross as an ordinary Roman Catholic would. Then one crosses his wrists, the palms of his hands open, and the other in answer crosses his feet, one above the other. The first points with forefinger on the right hand to the center of the palm of the left. The other with the forefinger of the left hand points to the center of the palm of the right. The first then with his left hand touches the left side of his body just below his heart. The first then with his right hand draws it across the throat of the other, and the latter then with the dagger down the stomach and the abdomen of the first. The first then says Lustum, and the other answers Nicar. The first Regis, and the other answers Empoius. The first will then present a small piece of paper folded in a peculiar manner 4 times, which the other will cut longitudinally, and on opening the name Jesus will be found written upon the head and arms of a cross 3 times. You will then give and receive with him the following questions and answers. Well, so this was really they really scrutinized each other heavily when 2 Jesuits met back in the day. They really wanted to they really had a process for figuring out who was who. So they would ask each other, "From whither do you come?" "The Holy Faith." "Whom do you serve?" "The Holy Father at Rome, the Pope, and the Roman Catholic Church universal throughout the world." "Who commands you?" "The successor of St. Ignatius of Loyola, the founder of the Society of Jesus and the Soldiers of Jesus Christ." "Who received you?" "A venerable man in his white hair." "How?" "With a naked dagger I kneeling upon the cross beneath the banners of the Pope and of our sacred order." "Did you take the oath?" "I did, to destroy heretics and their governments and rulers, and to spare neither age nor sex nor condition, to be a corpse without any opinion or will of my own, but to implicitly obey my superiors in all things without hesitation or murmuring." "Will you do that?" "I will." "How do you travel?" "In the bark of Peter the fisherman." "Whither do you travel?" "To the 4 quarters of the globe." "For what purpose?" "To obey the orders of my general superiors, and execute the will of the Pope, and faithfully fulfill the conditions of my oaths." "Go ye, then, into all the world, and take possession of all lands in the name of the Pope. He will not accept him as the vicar of Jesus and his vice-regent on earth. Let him be accursed and exterminated."